Going back to the reason I sold all my remaining ETH coins, I still remember that it was lunch before Christmas Day of 2017 with a group of friends at the company. But this group of friends it's not the group of technology friends that I'm talking about now, but another group of friends. So this is lunch before Christmas break. There was a friend in there who talked about the future of Bitcoin all the time. Then he lectured all the rest of us about how good Bitcoin is, why Bitcoin is a cross-border payment tool, and why it will change the world somehow. At first I didn't say anything, then I started asking some deeper technical questions about financial management relations of Asian governments. Then that friend is silent. At this point, I discovered that this was the taxi driver, and when I got home, I decided to sell all my remaining ETH, leaving only 10 dong as a souvenir. It's not me or anything, but after that, the price of ETH continued to increase, and by the time I sold it, it was somewhere around $1,000 per ETH. Then it increased until January of the following year, peaking at $1,700. So if you asked me at that time whether I regretted it or not, I did. But looking back, after that, the whole crypto market dropped deeply. There was a time when the price of ETH dropped to more than $100 ETH. From then on, I still believe in the lesson that Mr. Tim taught me. Well, the story doesn't end here. You still remember that I still kept the 10 ETH coins as a souvenir, but for 3 years I didn't seem to pay any attention to it anymore. Because I decided to sell all that ETH, which means I'm no longer interested in this market. Then, after 3 years, the crypto market started to increase again, and this time it increased even more dramatically. And I still kept those 10 coins until a few weeks later when I decided to sell them all, and the reason I sold them was the same. It was during a recent evening that I talked to a younger brother. After a while of talking, I realized that this younger brother was very similar to my other friend from 3 years ago. Even if this guy also spent money to buy it and won a little, he would also read this and the other side a little. After talking for a while, I discovered that he was also a taxi driver. I have had a rule for myself that when I identify someone in this situation, I will stop. There is more debate. Then I ended the talk with a warning that, be careful that you don't know what you don't know, and that night I decided to sell all the remaining ETH on the 22nd. If you look at the chart again, it was the 23rd when the market crashed. So here I don't mean to say that I'm good. The fact that it crashed after the times I sold is completely coincidental, and the times I sold were completely uncalculated, all because of that statement. And yes, maybe in the future it will increase again a lot more. Currently the price of ETH is $3,743. But whether it's a coincidence or not, I still believe in that saying, when the taxi driver becomes an expert, it's time to sell. Through that story, I have integrated 2 things that I want to share with you when you invest in anything. The first thing is, you have to know what you don't know. This is very important. The reason why I tell you about my very long journey about crypto is mainly to show you that I have a certain amount of knowledge about crypto, which is to say it in a humble way, but also temporarily take off my hat. To be humble, I think I understand crypto much more deeply than those who claim to be experts. However, I still clearly determine that I am in this field beyond my understanding. I can understand a little bit about the technology and how it works, but the whole thing about how the world of money works and how governments manage money around the world, I'm very clear that I don't have enough knowledge in this part. I'm telling the truth, not pretending to be humble, Those things are beyond my understanding at the present time. And the key here is to determine what you know and what you don't know. By the way, I also share a short story from my younger brother, who was also my younger brother. There was a time when my younger brother invested in oil, which means commodity, and he won. For a moment, when I looked at it, it was clear that it was luck and not calculation at all. Then I started listening to you talk about commodities. At that time, I also took the time to share with you some experiences like this. When I changed jobs and no longer worked in banking, it was because my company was one of the sponsors of the World Economic Forum. So one time I went with my company to attend this event. The world economy is where leaders of countries, economic experts, oil organizations, banks, and large investment funds sit together so they can discuss and plan some strategies for operating the economy for the whole world. Needless to say, for someone like me who was participating for the first time, obviously, I was very overwhelmed. But thanks to that time, I learned a valuable lesson for myself that things like oil, gold, generally commodities or forex, 90% of people participating in them are betting. All the money is gone and there's no investment at all. Only a small group with knowledge of technical analysis has a slightly higher probability, but it is still gambling. It is like gambling but knows a little about calculation. The remaining 90% is gambling, luck, and the group of people who play this game and don't gamble, they sit very far away from us. They are the people sitting at the World Economic Forum over there. Thanks to the opportunity to experience that trip, I clearly determined for myself that I do not have enough knowledge to trade commodities. If I buy gold, there is only one reason for me to reserve money. I do not trade gold to seek profit from it because I simply know that I do not have enough knowledge and information to trade commodities. It's similar to the crypto story. As I told you, I have clearly determined that I do not know enough about this field. What I know is not enough for me to make investment decisions that are not gambling. But I can only admit that I only understand a little bit of the technology behind it about how blockchain works. Once again, I want to emphasize that I am not against Bitcoin or ETH or cryptocurrency in general. Even through today's story, you can see that I really like these technologies, and in some ways, I believe that blockchain is also applied to many other fields. But which scares me every time I look at the current crypto market, I see too many people, FOMO. This is the fear of missing out. So they put money into the market to buy and invest in every way. People who don't understand it well or understand it just listen to a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Then I look around and see that 90% are people like that. The remaining 10% are people who have information or are sharks and fish. Elephants. The topic of Bitcoin is a very sensitive topic. I often observe and see it divided into two extremes. One side is the people who don't believe in crypto and criticize it very badly, and the other side is the people who believe in it very much and praise it to the fullest. I have no idea whether it's an argument or any other direction because, as I said, actually, I don't know where the future of crypto will go. Whether it will become $500,000 or a tool to store new value for the world, but it could also be a bubble. I don't know, and the point here is that I don't know, and because I don't know, I will sit on the sidelines and be a spectator, and at least for the time being. In my opinion, the best way at the present time is to have some understanding about it and have a fair view of both directions. If, after I understand it, I realize that this field is too broad compared to my understanding, Well, I'm just like you, so let's sit and watch together. If you want to invest, there are many other investment channels we can invest our money. Because for me, I clearly define my investment motto. That is, when I invest in something, it is an investment, not a card game. If I play cards, I go to the casino and play. That is the first thing I want to share with you, not only in the investment field but in all aspects of life. What I have to determine is what I know and what I don't know. The thing where I can determine what I don't know. I think sometimes it's even more important what you already know. People who don't know what they don't know are even more dangerous than those who are called stupid, because being stupid means you can learn slowly to get out of your ignorance. As for what I don't know, so I don't have to continue studying to fill in that stupid gap, so this is even more dangerous. That is the first lesson I share with you. As for the second lesson, I actually shared it with you guys, which is the saying that when a taxi driver starts to become an expert, that's when we should exit. I find this statement to be true in all cases such as Bitcoin or the stock market or the real estate market. When you hear too much about what amateurs share or give advice to those around you, then you should be careful. Those are the two messages I want to share with you and my brothers and sisters in this episode. The first is to try to know what you don't know. The second is to be careful with the taxi driver as an expert. So I would like to end this issue here. If you find this content valuable, please share it with your friends. I am preparing some upcoming videos on the topic of self-esteem. As I said before, this is a topic that I am very interested in, and I myself have been on this financial journey for 10 years now, and it has brought a lot of value to my life. And I think it will also bring a lot of value to you. I will post this topic in the next few days, but after this time, the next time I will share with you about whether should you invest in Bitcoin. In this episode 1 will share more deeply so you can have more information about crypto for those of you who don't know or are interested. And finally, to help me be more motivated, please help me click the subscribe button below so I can release more episodes, and then click the bell next to it to see every time a video I post here. You can follow more. So I would like to end this issue here. Say hello and see you again in the next issues.